She collapsed in the middle of the courtroom, blood pressure spiking, vision fading. Her husband's mistress smiled from the gallery, thinking she'd finally won. The judge called for a recess. Everyone assumed it was over, that the unstable wife had just proved her cheating husband right. But what happened in the next 60 minutes would change everything, because Kate Morrison had something her husband didn't know about, something his mistress never saw coming. A recording that would expose 18 months of lies, financial fraud, and a conspiracy so calculated it would shock even the judge. This is the story of a woman who discovered her husband was stealing her inheritance to buy a house with his mistress, who found out he'd been gaslighting her for over a year, building a case to take her children, who passed out from the stress of it all, then got back up and fought harder than she ever thought possible. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear proves that sometimes the truth doesn't just set you free, it destroys everyone who tried to bury it. The notification chime echoed in the dark bedroom at 3:17 in the morning. Kate Morrison reached for the tablet on her nightstand. Her eyes were barely open. She thought Emma needed something. A ride home from a friend's house. Money for an early breakfast run. Something normal. The screen glowed bright in the darkness. A text message. Notification. Not from Emma. 8 words destroyed her world. I miss the taste of you. Come back to bed. Kate's hand froze. The tablet felt heavy. Too heavy. She read the words again. Then a third time. Her brain refused to process what her eyes were seeing. The message was from someone named TJ, sent to Rick's number. Time-stamped 11:42 p.m. Yesterday, Rick was sleeping next to her, his breathing steady and deep. The man who'd kissed her goodnight at 10:30. Who'd told her he loved her. Who'd fallen asleep within minutes like he always did. Kate's hands started shaking. She scrolled up, found message after message. Weeks of them, months. Hotel room numbers. Afternoon meeting times that didn't exist on his work calendar. Complaints about having to go home to her and the kids. The tablet was supposed to be for family scheduling. Soccer practices, drama club rehearsals, grocery lists. They shared it so they could coordinate their lives. Rick had been using it to coordinate his affair. Kate wanted to scream, wanted to shake him awake, wanted to throw the tablet at his sleeping face. Instead, she unlocked her phone with trembling fingers, started taking screenshots. Evidence, proof, documentation. Her teacher training kicked in. When a student was being bullied, you documented everything. You built a case. You protected yourself with facts. She photographed message after message. Her hands shook so badly that some photos came out blurred. She deleted those and tried again. Clear images, readable text, timestamps visible. At 4:37 a.m., she'd captured everything. Kate set the tablet back on the nightstand, exactly where it had been. Rick never stirred. He slept like a man with nothing to hide, like a man who believed he'd gotten away with something. She got up, walked to the bathroom, closed the door, sat on the edge of the bathtub fully dressed in her pajamas, stared at the wall. 22 years of marriage, 2 children, a house, a life. All of it built on what? Lies? When did the lies start? How long had this been going on? Kate's chest felt tight, like someone was sitting on it, pressing down, making it hard to breathe. She stood up, splashed cold water on her face, looked at herself in the mirror. 45 years old, laugh lines around her eyes, gray roots showing through her dye job. She'd been meaning to book a hair appointment for 3 weeks but kept forgetting. When did she stop making time for herself? When did letting yourself go become the same as being a good wife and mother? The woman in the mirror looked tired, overwhelmed, exactly how Rick had been describing her to everyone for months. You're not crazy, Kate whispered to her reflection. You know what you saw. She went through her morning routine on autopilot. Shower, clothes, coffee. The house was silent except for the sounds she made. The coffee maker gurgling, water running, her footsteps on the kitchen tile. At 5:45 a.m., she started packing lunches. Turkey sandwich for Tyler. He hated mayo, always had. Ham and cheese for Emma, no tomatoes. Emma was particular about textures. Kate knew these things. She knew everything about her children, their favorite foods, their fears, their dreams. She showed up to every parent-teacher conference, every school play, every band concert, every soccer game. She was present, engaged. There. Rick came downstairs at 6:28 a.m., right on schedule. He was wearing the blue shirt Kate had bought him for Christmas. His hair was still damp from the shower. He smelled like the expensive cologne she'd given him for his birthday. Had he worn that cologne for Tiffany? The thought appeared unbidden. Kate didn't even know who TJ was yet, but she could guess. "Morning, beautiful," Rick said. He kissed her cheek, the same kiss he'd given her every morning for 22 years. Casual, comfortable, loving. Kate handed him his coffee, black with one sugar, exactly how he liked it. "Morning," she replied. Her voice sounded normal, steady, like her world wasn't ending. Rick smiled at her. "You're up early. Couldn't sleep. Everything okay?" Kate looked at him, really looked at him. His blue eyes, the small scar on his chin from a childhood bike accident, the way his left eyebrow quirked up when he was concerned. She knew this face, had loved this face for over 2 decades. When did it become the face of a stranger? "Everything's fine," Kate lied. "Just restless." Rick nodded, took a sip of his coffee. "You should try that meditation app I told you about. Might help with the stress." Stress. He was always telling her she seemed stressed, overwhelmed, like she couldn't handle normal life anymore. "Maybe I will," Kate said. Emma stumbled into the kitchen at 6:45 a.m., 16 years old, beautiful, still half asleep. She grabbed the lunch Kate had made and barely looked up from her phone. "Morning, sweetheart," Kate said. "Morning." Emma grabbed a granola bar from the pantry. "Can you take me to school early? I have a study group." "Of course. Thanks, Mom." Emma glanced at Rick. Her whole face lit up. "Morning, Dad." "Morning, Princess." Rick grinned at her. "How's my favorite daughter?" "Your only daughter." Emma rolled her eyes but smiled. She adored her father. Always had. Daddy's girl through and through. Tyler appeared at 6:58 a.m., 13 years old, quieter than his sister, more observant. He grabbed his lunch and sat at the kitchen table with a bowl of cereal. "Morning, Ty," Kate said. "Morning, Mom." He looked at her, really looked at her. His dark eyes, Rick's eyes, studied her face. "You okay?" Kate froze. Tyler missed nothing. He was the kid who noticed when someone cut their hair, when a teacher seemed sad, when something was wrong but nobody was talking about it. "I'm fine, honey. Just didn't sleep well." Tyler nodded slowly. He didn't believe her, she could tell, but he didn't push. He ate his cereal and watched her with those careful eyes. Rick left at 7:15 a.m., kissed Kate goodbye, told her he loved her, said he had meetings all day and would be home by 6. Kate stood at the kitchen sink after he left, washing dishes, the same coffee mug 3 times, scrubbing, rinsing, scrubbing again. Tyler watched from the doorway. "Mom, that cup is clean." Kate looked down at her hands. Her fingers were pruned from the water. The mug was spotless. Had been spotless after the first wash. Some stains didn't wash away, no matter how hard you scrubbed. She set the mug in the dish rack carefully. "You're right, I was just thinking about something." Tyler walked over and hugged her, quick and tight. He was almost as tall as Rick now. When had that happened? "Whatever it is," Tyler said quietly, "you'll figure it out. You always do." Kate's eyes burned. She blinked rapidly, hugged him back. "Thank you, baby." "I'm not a baby anymore, Mom." "You'll always be my baby." Tyler smiled, a real smile. "Love you. Love you too." After she dropped the kids at school, Kate sat in her car in the parking lot. She couldn't go home, couldn't face that empty house, couldn't be alone with her thoughts. She opened her laptop, connected to the school's guest Wi-Fi, typed TJ into Facebook. 37 results. She tried TJ Morrison. Nothing. She added commercial real estate to the search. One result. Tiffany Jane Bennett. The profile photo showed a young woman with long blonde hair, bright smile, blue eyes, professional headshot. Her page said she used to work as Rick's assistant, now listed as his business partner. Kate clicked through to Tiffany's photos. Vacation pictures, restaurant photos, gym selfies, and there, buried in an album from 6 months ago, A photo that made Kate's stomach drop. Tiffany wearing a bracelet Kate had never seen before. Diamond, expensive. The caption read, "Treated myself." The date on the photo was February 3rd. February 2nd had been Kate and Rick's anniversary. Rick gave her a card and promised to take her away soon. He'd seemed distracted that day, said he had a work emergency. Kate opened their joint credit card statement, scrolled back to February 2nd, found a charge for $3,200 at a jewelry store downtown. She'd never received any jewelry. The math was simple, brutal, clear. Rick bought Tiffany a diamond bracelet with their money on their anniversary. Kate's vision blurred. She gripped the steering wheel. 32 years old. Tiffany was 32 years old. Kate was 45. The cliche of it almost made her laugh. Almost. She pulled out her phone, trolled through her contacts, found the name she needed. Trish answered on the second ring. "Kate, what's wrong?" Kate's voice cracked. "I need you. Now." "Where are you?" "School parking lot. I can't go home. I can't." She stopped, took a breath. "Trish, I think Rick is having an affair." Silence on the other end. Then, "I'm on my way. Don't move." Kate ended the call, put her head on the steering wheel. Her whole body shook. She'd said it out loud, made it real. Rick was having an affair. 22 years of marriage, 2 children, a shared life. All of it crumbling because her husband decided she wasn't enough anymore. Or maybe she'd never been enough. Maybe this had been inevitable. Kate's phone buzzed, a text from Rick. "Hope you have a great day. Love you." 3 words, casual, normal, like he hadn't spent last night texting another woman. Like he wasn't planning to see her today during his meetings. Kate didn't respond. She couldn't. Anything she typed would be a lie or an accusation. Neither felt right, not yet. She needed evidence first, needed to know exactly what she was dealing with, needed to protect herself and her children before Rick knew she knew. Her hands stopped shaking, her mind cleared. The panic faded into something colder, sharper, more focused. Rick thought he was so smart, thought he'd hidden everything perfectly, thought his stressed-out wife would never notice. He was wrong. Kate Morrison was a high school English teacher. She'd dealt with sneaky teenagers for 20 years. She knew how to spot a lie, how to find evidence, how to build a case, and she was going to document everything. Trisha's car pulled into the parking lot 43 minutes later. Kate watched her best friend hurry across the lot. Trish Caldwell. They'd met in college, roommates freshman year, became inseparable, stood up at each other's weddings, held each other through miscarriages and job losses and family drama. Trish knew Kate better than anyone. Kate opened her car door, tried to stand. Her legs felt weak. Trish grabbed her, pulled her into a fierce hug. "I've got you." Kate held on tight, breathed in the familiar scent of Trish's perfume, the same brand she'd worn since college. Something about that consistency made Kate want to cry. "Let me see everything," Trish said. They sat in Kate's car. Kate pulled out her phone, showed Trish the screenshots, the messages, the credit card statements, the Facebook photos. Trish's expression hardened with each image. Her jaw clenched. She was a divorce attorney specializing in high-asset cases. She'd seen this scenario hundreds of times. But this was Kate, her best friend, the woman who'd been there when Trish's own marriage fell apart 5 years ago. "How long have you known?" Trish asked. "Since 3:17 this morning." "And he doesn't know you know?" "No, he left for work like normal. Kissed me goodbye. Told me he loved me." Trish's expression darkened. "They always do." She scrolled through more screenshots. "Okay, first things first. Have you checked your bank accounts?" Kate's stomach dropped. "No, why would I?" She stopped. Of course, money, assets. If Rick was planning something, he'd move money first. "We share everything," Kate said quietly. "Joint checking, joint savings, joint investments. Rick handles the finances because he's better with numbers." "Kate," Trish's voice was gentle but firm, "I need you to check those accounts right now, all of them." Kate pulled up her banking app, logged in. Joint checking looked normal. Joint savings looked normal. She clicked on the investment account. Her breath caught. "What?" Trish leaned over. "What is it?" "The investment account. It had almost $500,000 in it last time I looked. From selling my grandmother's property last year, plus our retirement savings. Kate's hands shook. There's $27,000 left. Trish grabbed the phone, scrolled through the transaction history. When did you last check this account? 3 weeks ago, maybe 4? Rick handles everything. I trusted him. $473,000 was transferred out 3 days ago, Trish said. Her voice was cold now, professional. To an account ending in 7421. Do you recognize that account number? No. That's because it's not a joint account. Trish looked at Kate. He moved your money into an account only in his name, and he did it 3 days ago. The number meant nothing and everything. That was Kate's grandmother's legacy. Her grandmother had worked as a seamstress for 40 years, saved every penny, left that money to Kate specifically with a note. You're the one with sense, Katie girl. Don't let anyone take advantage of you. And Rick took advantage. Stole from a dead woman to finance something. What? A future with Tiffany? A house? A business? What was worth stealing from his wife and children? Call the bank, Kate said. Freeze the accounts, all of them. Trish was already dialing. It's going to be okay. We'll get that money back. But Kate, she paused, looked at her friend with something like pity. If he moved that money 3 days ago, he's been planning this for a while. This isn't just an affair. This is an exit strategy. Kate felt numb, cold, like someone had dumped ice water over her head. Exit strategy. Rick was leaving, had been planning to leave. For how long? Months? Years? Trish spoke rapidly into her phone. Banking terms Kate barely understood. Fraud, unauthorized transfers, emergency freezes. She hung up and made another call, then another. Kate sat and watched. Her life was falling apart, crumbling into pieces, and she was just sitting here, watching it happen. Trish's phone buzzed. She looked at the screen. Her face went pale. Kate? What? Rick just filed for divorce. The papers are being processed now. You'll be served within the hour. Kate laughed, actually laughed. It sounded hysterical even to her own ears. He hasn't even told me he wants a divorce. I found out about the affair 8 hours ago, and he's already filed legal papers. This means he's been planning this for months, Trish said. Maybe longer. The money transfer, the filing. Kate, this is coordinated, and I need you to understand something. She grabbed Kate's hands. He's playing to win. The words hung in the air, heavy, threatening, real. Rick wasn't just leaving, he was destroying, taking everything, making sure Kate ended up with nothing. Then I'll play to win too, Kate said. Her voice was steadier now. The shock was fading, replaced by something harder, sharper. Rick had made a mistake. He'd underestimated her, thought she'd just collapse, accept whatever he decided, be the overwhelmed, stressed out wife he'd been describing to everyone. He was wrong. I need a lawyer, Kate said. The best one you know. Jonathan Hayes. He's expensive, but worth every penny. Specializes in complex divorce cases. Ruthless when he needs to be. Trish was already texting. I'm setting up a meeting for this afternoon. Thank you. Kate. Trish's voice softened. I'm so sorry this is happening. Rick is a bastard, but you're going to get through this, I promise. Kate nodded. Couldn't speak. If she spoke, she'd cry. And once she started crying, she wasn't sure she'd stop. They sat in silence. Outside, the school parking lot was empty. Classes had started. Kate should be teaching second period right now, discussing Shakespeare with her juniors. But she'd called in sick. First time in 7 years. A car pulled into the parking lot. Black sedan, professional looking, a man in a suit got out, carrying an envelope. Process server. That's him, Trish said. The divorce papers. Kate watched the man walk toward her car. Her hands were steady now, her mind clear. This was happening. Rick was forcing her hand, making her react to his timeline, his plan. But she refused to be a passive victim in this story. Kate got out of the car before the man could reach her. I've been expecting you. The man looked surprised. Mrs. Morrison? Yes. I have divorce papers to serve you from your husband, Richard Morrison. I know. Give them to me. He handed her the envelope. "You've been served. Have a good day, ma'am." Kate took the envelope, felt the weight of it. 22 years of marriage reduced to a stack of legal documents. She didn't open it. Not yet. She knew what it said. Rick wanted out, wanted the house, wanted the kids, wanted everything anymore, and he thought she'd just let him have it. While Trish made phone calls, Kate sat in her car and walked through her house in her mind. 22 years of shared space, shared memories, shared life. The expensive espresso machine Rick bought last Christmas. He said it was for both of them, but Kate never used it. She drank regular coffee from their old machine. Did he buy it for Tiffany's office? The weekend Rick spent renovating the basement. Except nothing in the basement changed. Kate had asked him about it. He said he'd done structural work she couldn't see. Had he been with Tiffany instead? The new cologne, the gym membership, the phone calls taken in the garage, the late nights, the business trips. How many lies? How many hours of her life had been spent believing Rick while he was somewhere else, with someone else? Kate thought about their bedroom, the bed they'd shared for 22 years. 3 nights ago, they'd made love. Rick had been tender, attentive, loving. Had he been thinking of Tiffany, pretending Kate was her? The thought made her sick. She got out of the car, walked to the far end of the parking lot, found a bench near the soccer field, sat down. The morning air was cool. Birds were singing. The sun was rising. Everything looked normal, beautiful, like the world hadn't just ended. Kate's phone buzzed, Rick calling. She let it ring. Couldn't talk to him, couldn't pretend everything was fine. Not anymore. He left a voicemail. She didn't listen to it. A text came through. "Hey, are you okay? You didn't answer. Call me when you get a chance. Love you." Love you, 2 words he'd said a million times. 2 words that meant nothing now. Kate checked her phone obsessively, 17 times in 30 minutes. Lock screen. Swipe. Nothing new. Lock screen. Swipe. Nothing new. She was waiting for Rick to text again, to call, to somehow sense that she knew. But his day continued normally according to his calendar. Meeting at 10, lunch with clients, home by 6, the mundane schedule of a man whose wife hadn't discovered his secret yet. Trish found her sitting on the bench. "Jonathan can see you at 2 o'clock. His office is downtown. I'll drive you." "Thank you." "Kate, there's something else." Trish sat down next to her. "I called my contact at the bank. They're investigating the transfer. But they found something else. Rick created a shell corporation 6 months ago, Morrison Development LLC. I don't know anything about that. I figured that's where he transferred your money, into that LLC. Then the LLC purchased a property 2 weeks ago, lakefront, worth about $900,000. Kate's brain struggled to process. He bought a house? A property, land. It's titled 50/50 to 2 corporations, Morrison Development LLC and Bennett Holdings LLC. Bennett, Kate's voice was flat. As in Tiffany Bennett? Her company. Kate, Rick used your inheritance to buy property with his mistress. Property they're planning to develop together. This isn't just an affair. This is financial fraud. The words washed over Kate. Fraud, theft, conspiracy, criminal. Her husband wasn't just having an affair. He was stealing from her, using her money to build a future with someone else, planning to leave Kate with nothing. "Can we use this in court?" Kate asked. "Absolutely. Jonathan will tear him apart." Kate's phone rang again. Rick's mother, Eleanor. Kate didn't answer. Couldn't deal with Rick's family right now. Couldn't pretend to be the nice daughter-in-law while Rick destroyed her life. Eleanor left a voicemail. Kate deleted it without listening. "I need to get the kids," Kate said. "Tyler has band practice until 4. Emma has drama club until 5. I need to be there when they get out. I need to tell them." "Do you want me to come with you?" Kate considered, shook her head. "No, this is something I need to do alone. But thank you for everything. I don't know what I'd do without you." Trish hugged her tight. "You'd do exactly what I did when my marriage fell apart. You'd survive because you're strong. Stronger than Rick has ever given you credit for." Kate wasn't sure she believed that, but she nodded anyway. At 2 o'clock, Kate sat in Jonathan Hayes's office on the 20th floor of a downtown high-rise. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city, expensive furniture, framed law degrees on the wall. Jonathan Hayes was 52, silver hair, wire-rimmed glasses, kind eyes that had probably seen every variation of human cruelty in divorce court. He listened to Kate's story without interrupting, took notes, asked questions. His face remained neutral the entire time. When Kate finished, Jonathan sat back in his leather chair. "Mrs. Morrison, I'm going to be very direct with you. Your husband has been planning this divorce for at least 6 months, possibly longer. Everything he's done, the money transfers, the shell corporation, the property purchase, these were all deliberate steps in a coordinated plan. Can we stop him? We can fight him, and based on what you've shown me, we have an excellent case. But I need you to understand something." Jonathan leaned forward. "Your husband will try to make you look bad. He'll claim you're unstable. He'll use every moment you've ever been stressed or overwhelmed or emotional against you. He'll paint himself as the reasonable one and you as the problem." Kate had known this was coming, but hearing it out loud still hurt. "He's already started. He's been telling people I'm stressed, overwhelmed, that I need help." Exactly. He's been building a narrative, laying groundwork, which means, Jonathan paused, slid another document across his desk. "I received this an hour ago. Rick is asking for full custody of both children." Kate's vision grayed at the edges. "What?" "He's claiming you're mentally unstable, that you can't properly care for Emma and Tyler, that they need the stability only he can provide." "That's not true. I'm not unstable. I'm a good mother." "I believe you, but he's already filed a statement from Dr. Lisa Crawford, a court-appointed custody evaluator. The evaluation was scheduled 2 weeks ago." 2 weeks ago? I didn't know about any evaluation. "Because Rick didn't tell you. He scheduled it before filing for divorce. He's been very thorough." Kate couldn't breathe. Her chest felt tight. This wasn't just about losing Rick. This was about losing Emma and Tyler, her children, her babies. "We'll fight this," Jonathan said firmly. "We'll expose his lies. We'll show the court exactly what kind of man he is." "But Kate," he looked at her seriously, "this is going to get ugly. Rick is playing dirty. Are you ready for that?" Kate thought about her children, about 22 years of marriage, about her grandmother's money stolen and used to buy property for Rick's mistress, about every lie, every manipulation, every moment Rick positioned himself as the good guy while painting Kate as the problem. "Yes," she said, "I'm ready." Kate sat in Jonathan's conference room, surrounded by documents. Her entire life spread across the table. Bank statements, credit card records, text messages, photos, 22 years of marriage reduced to evidence. Jonathan's paralegal, a woman named Sarah, organized everything into color-coded folders: green for financial documents, blue for communications, red for custody-related materials. "We're building a timeline," Sarah explained. "Every lie Rick told, every charge on the credit card, every business trip that wasn't really a business trip." Kate stared at December 14th of last year. Rick said he was at a commercial real estate conference in Chicago. 3 days. Important networking. He'd called her every night, told her about meetings and presentations. The credit card showed charges in Miami, a luxury hotel on South Beach, romantic dinners at expensive restaurants, a couple's spa package for $280. "He was never in Chicago," Kate said quietly. "No," Jonathan agreed. "He was in Miami with Tiffany Bennett." Kate scrolled through her phone, found photos from that week. The kids' Christmas concert, Emma singing in the choir, Tyler playing trumpet in the band, Kate sitting alone in the audience. She'd saved a seat for Rick, told the kids Dad was sorry he couldn't make it. Work emergency. There was no work emergency. Rick was getting a couple's massage with his mistress. "Every charge," Jonathan said. "We document everything. Build an undeniable pattern. Show the court exactly what he's been doing." Kate found February 2nd, their anniversary. Rick gave her a card that morning, a sweet message about 22 years together. He promised to take her somewhere special soon. That afternoon, he charged $3,200 at a jewelry store. Kate pulled up Tiffany's Facebook page, scrolled to February 3rd. There was the photo, Tiffany showing off a diamond bracelet. Treated myself, the caption said. 37 likes, comments calling it beautiful. Rick bought his Mistress diamonds with joint account money on his anniversary. He's careful, Jonathan noted. Most of the affair-related expenses are under $500. Dinner here, hotel there. Nothing that would stand out on a statement you're not looking at closely. Because he knows I don't look at them closely, Kate said. I trusted him. That's what he was counting on. Sarah spread out more documents. Phone records, GPS data from Rick's car, app usage logs Jonathan's investigator had pulled from Rick's cloud backup. His phone shows him at the Riverside restaurant every Thursday afternoon for 14 months, Sarah said. 1 to 3 p.m., same table reservation every week. Kate's drama club meetings were every Thursday, 1 to 5 p.m. She stayed late at school. Rick knew exactly when she'd be busy, unavailable, easy to lie to. I talked to a server there, Jonathan said. Woman named Diane Callahan. She recognized Rick and Tiffany from photos. Said they came in weekly, acted like a married couple. The staff even gave them the anniversary booth last month. Kate felt sick. Diane's willing to testify if needed, Jonathan continued. She was the one who called you yesterday. Kate remembered. The unknown number, the kind voice. My sister went through something similar. I just thought you should know. Strangers were more honest with Kate than her own husband. There's more, Jonathan said carefully. The property Rick purchased with your money. Lakefront, undeveloped, current market value around $900,000. Plans filed with the county show intent to build a luxury home. 6 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, pool, guest house. He showed Kate architectural drawings, dated 3 months ago, filed under Morrison Development LLC and Bennett Holdings LLC, the dream house. Exactly what Kate and Rick had talked about building someday. When the kids were older, when they'd saved enough money, when the timing was right. Except Rick was building it now, with Tiffany, using Kate's money. Can they do that? Kate asked. Just take my inheritance and build a house with it? Not legally, that's fraud. We'll get that money back, and probably more. Rick made a critical error. He thought you'd never look. Kate stared at the architectural drawings. 6 bedrooms. For what? Rick and Tiffany and the kids? Were they planning to move Emma and Tyler into this house? Play happy family and a home bill on Kate's stolen money? Her phone buzzed, a text from Emma. Dad says you and him are having problems. Says you need space. Is that true? Kate's hands clenched. Rick was already spinning the narrative, getting to the kids first, positioning himself as the concerned parent dealing with Kate's issues. She texted back carefully. We need to talk when you get home. All of us, together. Is it bad? We'll talk tonight. I love you. Love you too, Mom. Kate set her phone down, looked at Jonathan. When he told Emma I need space, what he really meant was he's leaving and making it sound like it's my fault. That's exactly what he meant, Jonathan agreed. It's a classic strategy. Control the narrative early. Make yourself the victim. Position the other spouse as the problem. How do we fight that? With truth, documentation, evidence. Jonathan gestured to the conference table. Rick can tell whatever story he wants, but the facts don't lie. Credit card statements don't lie. Text messages don't lie. Property records don't lie. Sarah handed Kate another folder. These are text messages between Rick and his brother. We got them through discovery. Rick talks about planning the divorce, mentions timing it around the school year, discusses strategy for getting full custody. Kate read through the messages, her husband discussing their children like game pieces, like assets to be won. Emma will side with me, Rick wrote. She always has. Tyler's trickier, but kids usually go with whoever has the nicer house. More money, better setup. Kate's eyes burned. Rick thought he could buy their children's loyalty. Thought Emma would choose him because he'd been manipulating her for months. Thought Tyler would follow money and comfort. He was probably right about Emma. She worshipped her father. Always had. And Rick had been setting Kate up as the unstable parent for so long that Emma believed it. But Tyler was different. Tyler saw things, noticed things. Would he see through Rick's lies? Kate wasn't sure, and that terrified her. "We need to prepare for the custody evaluation," Jonathan said. "Dr. Lisa Crawford is going to interview you, the kids, and Rick. She'll visit your home, review your parenting, make recommendations to the court." "Rick already met with her," Kate said, 2 weeks ago, before I even knew about the divorce. "Which means he's had time to present his narrative. Now you present yours. Be honest. Be yourself. Don't try to be perfect. Just show her that you're a competent, loving mother who's been blindsided by her husband's betrayal." Kate nodded, felt overwhelmed by everything she needed to do, needed to remember, needed to prove. She thought about her house, her kitchen with the kids' artwork on the fridge, Tyler's science fair project on the dining room table, Emma's college brochures stacked in neat piles, her classroom lesson plans spread across the home office desk, evidence of a life, a family, a woman who showed up every day. "What about the affair?" Kate asked. "Does that matter in custody cases?" "It depends. Infidelity matters if it affects the children. If Rick was bringing Tiffany around the kids, that's relevant. If he was spending money on the affair instead of on family needs, that's relevant. But just having an affair, judges see it every day. They're more concerned with parenting ability. So Rick can steal my money, lie to everyone, destroy our family, and the judge might not care as long as he seems like a good dad?" Jonathan's expression softened. "I know it's not fair, but family courts are focused on one thing: the best interests of the children. We need to show that you provide stability, love, and consistency. That Rick's lies and manipulation make him an unreliable parent." Kate wanted to scream, wanted to break something. 22 years of being a good wife and mother, and now she had to prove it to a judge. Prove she deserved her own children. Because Rick decided to blow up their lives. Her phone buzzed again. Rick calling. Kate stared at his name on the screen. Couldn't answer. Couldn't pretend anymore. The call went to voicemail. Rick's voice came through on the recording. "Hey, babe. Just checking in. Hope your day is going okay. Call me back when you get a chance. Love you." Babe. Love you. The casual endearments of a man who thought he was still getting away with everything. "Don't respond," Jonathan said. "Not yet. Everything you say to him now can be used in court. Everything. Be very careful." Kate nodded, set her phone face down on the table. Sarah pulled out another document. "This is Rick's filing, his version of events. I want you to read it. It's going to be upsetting, but you need to know what we're dealing with." Kate took the document, started reading. Rick's words described a marriage in crisis. A wife who'd become increasingly anxious and unstable over the past year. A husband who tried to help but was pushed away. Children caught in the middle of their mother's deteriorating mental health. According to Rick, Kate had become paranoid, accusatory, irrational. She stopped taking care of herself, let the house fall apart, became obsessed with minor issues, snapped at the children, created drama out of nothing. Rick, in his telling, was the calm presence, the stable parent, the one who held everything together while Kate fell apart. It was masterful and completely false. But how would a judge know that? Kate set the document down. Her hands shook. "None of this is true." "I know," Jonathan said gently, "but this is what Rick will argue in court. This is the narrative he's building. And some of it is based in reality. You have been stressed lately, right?" "Of course I've been stressed. I work full-time. I manage the household. I coordinate everything for the kids. Rick travels constantly, or I thought he was traveling. Now I know he was with Tiffany." "Exactly. Your stress was a normal reaction to being essentially a single parent while your husband conducted an affair. But Rick is reframing that stress as mental instability, making it your fault instead of his." Kate thought about every time Rick suggested she seemed overwhelmed. Every time he volunteered to handle school meetings because she was so busy. Every time he positioned himself as the together parent while implying Kate was struggling. He'd been building this narrative for months, gaslighting her, making her question herself, setting up the story he'd tell in court. How do we fight this? Kate asked. We tell your story. We show your consistency, your involvement. We get statements from the kids' teachers, their friends' parents, people who've seen you parent every day. We prove that you're not the person Rick describes. What if people believe him? Some people will. Rick is charming, convincing, good at controlling narratives. But we only need one person to believe you, Judge Thornton. And we're going to give her so much evidence that she can't ignore the truth. Kate wanted to believe him, wanted to trust that the truth would win, that justice would prevail. But she'd trusted Rick for 22 years. And look where that got her. Kate pulled into her driveway at 5:30 p.m. to find Emma waiting outside. Her daughter stood on the front porch, arms crossed, face stormy, 16 years old and beautiful and furious. Kate got out of the car slowly, tried to prepare herself for what was coming. Dad called me, Emma said. Her voice was sharp, accusatory. He said you were making everything difficult, that you're not being reasonable about the divorce. Kate closed her eyes. Of course Rick called first, got his version in before Kate could explain, positioned himself as the victim already. Come inside, Kate said. We need to talk. You and Tyler and me. Tyler's at his friend Brandon's house. Won't be back until 7. Then you and I will talk now, and we'll talk with Tyler later. Emma followed Kate into the house, slammed the door behind her. Dad says you've been really stressed lately, that you've been accusing him of things, making up problems that don't exist. They stood in the kitchen, the same kitchen where Kate had made breakfast this morning, where she'd packed lunches and poured coffee and pretended everything was fine. Less than 12 hours ago. It felt like a lifetime. Your father and I are getting divorced, Kate said. Decided to be direct. No soft edges. He filed the papers this morning. I was served a few hours ago. Emma's face crumpled. Because of you, right? Because you're making everything so hard on him? No, because your father has been having an affair with a woman named Tiffany Bennett for 18 months. Emma recoiled like Kate had slapped her. You're lying. I'm not lying, sweetheart. Yes, you are. Emma's voice rose. She was pacing now, 3 steps toward the window. Turn. 3 steps back. Dad would never do that. You're making this up because you're jealous of how successful he is, because you can't handle that he's moving forward with his life and you're stuck being a teacher. Kate recognized the pacing, the same thing she'd done this morning. Mother and daughter, both trying to move away from an unbearable truth. Emma, I have proof. I don't want to see your proof. I don't want to hear any more lies. Kate pulled out her phone anyway. Showed Emma the text messages. Not the explicit ones, just enough to show the pattern. The hotels, the restaurants, the lies. Emma snatched the phone. Read through the messages. Her hands started shaking. This can't be real. You faked these somehow. I didn't fake anything. Yes, you did. But Emma's voice cracked. The certainty was fading. Because if you didn't, that means Dad has been lying to me, to all of us, for... She couldn't finish the sentence. 18 months, half of Emma's junior year, most of her sophomore year, every daddy-daughter breakfast. Every time Rick positioned himself as Emma's ally against stressed-out Mom, all of it built on lies. I'm sorry, Kate said softly. I know this hurts. Dad said you'd try to turn me against him. Emma was crying now, angry tears streaming down her face. He said you've been really paranoid lately, accusing him of things, and I defended you. I told him you were just stressed, but now you're actually trying to ruin his life with these lies. They're not lies, Emma. Then why would Dad tell me you were the problem? Why would he say you need help? Kate took a breath. This was the gaslighting, the months of Rick positioning himself as reasonable and Kate as unstable. Now it was working exactly how he'd planned. Because your father has been setting this up for a long time, Kate said. Every time he told you I seemed stressed. Every time he suggested I needed help. He was building a story, making you believe I'm the problem so that when he left, you'd blame me instead of him. Emma shook her head. Wouldn't accept it. Couldn't accept it. Where is he now? Emma demanded. If Dad's supposedly cheating, where is he? Why isn't he here defending himself? I don't know where he is. Probably with Tiffany. See, you're paranoid, making assumptions. Dad is probably working, like he always is. Kate opened her laptop, pulled up the architectural drawings for the lakefront house, showed Emma the property records. This is a house your father is building with Tiffany, using money from a joint account. Money that belonged to both of us. Money from my grandmother's property. Emma stared at the drawings. 6 bedrooms, pool, guest house. He's not building this for us, Kate said it quietly. He's building it for a new life with Tiffany. Emma's face went pale. She looked up at Kate with eyes that suddenly seemed much younger than 16. If Dad was really doing all this, why didn't you stop him? Because I didn't know. He hid it from me, and he was good at hiding it. So you're saying Dad has been lying to all of us for over a year? Planning to leave us? Building a whole new life? Yes. And you expect me to just believe that? To accept that Dad is some villain and you're the victim? Kate wanted to shout, wanted to shake Emma and make her see the truth. But she kept her voice calm. I don't expect you to believe me right now. I know Dad means everything to you. I know you love him, and I'm not trying to take that away. I just need you to know the truth. Emma stood up, grabbed her backpack. I can't be here right now. Emma, please. No, I need to think. I need to process this. Her voice broke. I need to talk to Dad. Of course. Talk to him. Ask him about Tiffany. Ask him about the property. Ask him where he was every Thursday afternoon for the past year. Emma fled upstairs. Kate heard her bedroom door slam. Kate sat alone at the kitchen table, surrounded by the evidence of her shattered family. Tyler's science project still spread across one end, Emma's college brochures in neat stacks. Rick's coffee mug had been thrown away this morning. Small changes, big changes, everything changing. Her phone buzzed. A text from Rick. Told the kids, hope you didn't poison them against me. See you in court. Kate stared at the message. So casual, so confident. Rick thought he'd won already. Thought Emma would side with him. Thought Tyler would follow. Thought Kate would end up alone and broken. She thought about her grandmother. The seamstress who worked 40 years to save money for her granddaughter. Who trusted Kate to use it wisely. Who believed Kate had sense. I won't let him win, Grandma, Kate whispered. I promise. Tyler came home at 7:15 p.m. He walked into the kitchen, took one look at Kate's face. Emma texted me, said you told her Dad's having an affair. He is. Tyler nodded, didn't look surprised. Yeah, I figured. Kate's head snapped up. You knew? I didn't know for sure, but I noticed things. The way Dad checked his phone constantly, the way he acted when you asked about his day, the cologne, the new clothes, it all seemed off. Why didn't you say anything? Tyler shrugged, opened the fridge, grabbed an apple. Wasn't my business. And I thought maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was just being paranoid. You weren't wrong. No, I guess not. Tyler sat down at the table, looked at his mother directly. Is he leaving? Yes, he filed for divorce this morning. Is that why he wasn't at my band concert last month? Kate nodded. Yes. Tyler bit into his apple, chewed slowly. His face remained expressionless, but Kate saw the hurt in his eyes. The betrayal. He lied, Tyler said. It wasn't a question. He lied to all of us. Yes. Emma doesn't believe you. No, not yet. She will eventually. Emma's smart. She just doesn't want to accept it right now because Dad's been her hero forever. Kate felt tears building, blinked them back. I'm sorry, Ty. I'm so sorry you're going through this. Tyler reached across the table, took his mother's hand. It's not your fault, Mom. Dad made choices, bad choices. You didn't do anything wrong. Your father is trying to get full custody of both of you. Tyler's expression darkened. What? He's claiming I'm mentally unstable, that I can't take care of you properly. That's bull. Tyler's voice was fierce. You do everything for us. You're at every concert and game and parent-teacher conference. Dad shows up when it's convenient, if he shows up at all. A judge might not see it that way. Then the judge is an idiot. Kate smiled despite everything. Thank you for believing in me. Always, Mom. Tyler squeezed her hand. We're going to be okay. You, me, and eventually Emma. When she gets her head out of her... A Baylor! Sorry, but it's true. They sat in silence. The kitchen clock ticked. Outside, the sun was setting. Another day ending. A day that had started with discovery and ended with her family fractured. Kate's phone buzzed. Emma calling from upstairs. Can I talk to Dad? I need to hear his side. Of course, call him. I did. He's not answering. Where is he? Good question. Where was Rick? With Tiffany, probably. Celebrating his successful manipulation of their daughter, planning his next move. I don't know, sweetheart. This is so messed up. Emma's voice was small now, young, scared. I don't know what to believe anymore. Believe that I love you. Believe that I'll always tell you the truth, even when it's hard. Emily was quiet for a moment. Mom, did he ever actually love us? Or was that fake too? Kate's heart broke. I think he loves you in the only way he knows how, but that doesn't make what he's doing okay. That's not actually an answer. I know. Emma hung up. Kate sat with Tyler at the kitchen table, eating dinner that neither of them tasted, making conversation about school and homework and normal things, pretending their world wasn't ending. At 9 p.m., Emma came downstairs. Her eyes were red from crying. She didn't look at Kate, just grabbed a water bottle from the fridge. Emma, Kate started. I don't want to talk about it. Emma's voice was flat. I just need time to think. She went back upstairs. Kate let her go. Tyler helped with the dishes. She'll come around. I hope so. She will. Emma just needs to process. She's always been like that. Big emotions, big reactions. Then she calms down and sees things clearly. Kate prayed he was right. That night she lay in bed staring at the ceiling. The first night of her new life. Separated, soon to be divorced. Fighting for custody of her children. How had it come to this? She thought about the woman she'd been this morning. The one who woke up thinking everything was fine. That woman seemed like a stranger now. Naive, trusting, blind. Kate would never be that woman again. Her phone buzzed, a text from Trish. How did it go with the kids? Tyler believes me, Emma doesn't. Rick called Emma first and spun his version. He's good at that, but the truth will come out. How are you holding up? Kate thought about that question. How was she? Devastated, furious, terrified, determined. I'm surviving, Kate texted back. That's all you need to do right now, survive. And document everything. Every conversation with Rick, every interaction with the kids, everything. I will. We'll get through this, I promise. Kate wanted to believe her, wanted to trust that things would work out, that justice would prevail, that her children would see the truth. But she'd learned a hard lesson today. Trust was dangerous. Hope was fragile. The only thing she could count on was herself, so that's what she'd do. Count on herself, fight for her children, refuse to be destroyed. Rick thought he could break her, thought she'd collapse under the weight of his betrayal. He was wrong. Kate Morrison was a fighter, and this battle was just beginning. Kate's phone rang at 11 p.m. Jonathan's name on the screen. She answered immediately. Hello? Kate, I'm sorry to call so late, but I just got the financial analysis back from my forensic accountant. You need to hear this. Kate sat up in bed. What did you find? Your husband didn't just steal your money. He's been committing fraud, systematic, calculated, for nearly 2 years. Kate's mouth went dry. Tell me everything. The accountant found small transfers starting 18 months ago, $200 here, $500 there, always under $1,000, hidden in business expenses. Rick would categorize them as client dinners or contractor payments, but they were all going to Tiffany. How much total? Over the 18 months, close to $30,000 in small transfers. Then 6 months ago, he created the Shell Corporation, Morrison Development LLC, started moving larger amounts. The $473,000 was just the final transfer. He'd been slowly draining accounts for months. Kate felt sick. I never noticed. That's what he was counting on. You trusted him with the finances. You were busy with work and the kids. He took advantage of that trust. What else? The lakefront property. Purchased 2 weeks ago for $900,000. 50-50 between his LLC and Bennett Holdings. But here's the thing. Rick financed $300,000 through a loan, using the property itself as collateral. That loan has both his name and Tiffany's name on it. So they're financially entangled. Completely. They're co-owners, co-borrowers, business partners in every legal sense. This isn't just an affair, Kate. This is a planned future. They've been building a life together while you were being the idiot wife at home, Kate finished. No, being a faithful spouse who trusted her husband. Rick is the one who betrayed that trust. Kate got out of bed, started pacing. Can we use this in court? Absolutely. Wire fraud is a federal crime. Using joint assets without consent is theft. Creating shell corporations to hide money is fraud. Rick broke multiple laws. We're filing a motion for emergency hearing on Monday. What kind of hearing? Financial fraud. We'll ask the judge to freeze all of Rick's assets. Return your money immediately and sanction him for his illegal activity. This changes everything. Kate felt something shift inside her, power returning, control coming back. Rick had the upper hand this morning, but now she had evidence, proof, facts. There's more, Jonathan said. Rick gave Tiffany a car, brand new, titled only in her name. Purchased 8 months ago, $58,000, paid in cash from your joint savings. I remember that withdrawal. Rick said it was for equipment for a job site. He said the client wanted everything purchased outright, no financing. There was no job site, just a car for his mistress. Paid with your money. Kate's hands clenched. Every gift Rick gave Tiffany, every romantic gesture, every expensive date, all paid for with money that belonged to Kate and the kids. She was funding her own replacement. We have him, Jonathan said. Rick thought he was being clever, but he left a paper trail, every transaction, every transfer, every lie documented. What do we do now? We prepare for war. I'm drafting motions, gathering evidence, lining up witnesses. Monday morning, we're walking into court with everything. And Kate, Jonathan's voice was firm, we're going to destroy his credibility. He won't know what hit him. Kate allowed herself a small smile. Good. After Jonathan hung up, Kate couldn't sleep. She sat at her laptop in the home office, started building her own timeline. Every lie Rick told, every business trip, every late night, every excuse. December 14th, Chicago conference. Actually Miami with Tiffany. January 8th, site visit in Seattle. Actually Portland. Hotel charges for 2 people. February 2nd, working late. Actually buying Tiffany's bracelet. March 23rd, golf weekend with the clients. Actually romantic getaway. Beach resort. Couples massage. On and on. Lie after lie after lie. At 2 a.m., Kate realized she'd been eating crackers directly from the box. No plate. No napkin. Just sitting in the dark in her old sweatpants and her grandmother's cardigan, mechanically eating stale saltines while reviewing evidence of her husband's betrayal. She caught her reflection in the dark window. Messy bun, no makeup, tired eyes. She looked exactly how Rick described her in his court filings. Overwhelmed, unstable, letting herself go, except she wasn't unstable. She was documenting every single lie he'd told. And she was going to use it to destroy his credibility in court. Kate's phone buzzed, a text from unknown number. Mrs. Morrison, this is Michael Bennett, Tiffany's ex-husband. I need to talk to you. Kate stared at the message. Michael Bennett, the man Tiffany left 9 months ago. What could he possibly want? She texted back. How did you get my number? Through my lawyer. We found property records showing your husband and my ex-wife as co-owners. I have information you need to hear. Can we meet? Kate hesitated. This could be a trap, or it could be useful. When and where? Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., the coffee shop on Main Street. I'll be wearing a blue jacket. I'll be there. At 8 a.m., Kate called Trish, explained about Michael Bennett. I'm coming with you, Trish said immediately. No arguments. I wasn't going to argue. They met Michael at the coffee shop at 10 a.m. He was 35, tired looking, wedding ring still on his finger. Thank you for meeting me, Michael said. He looked nervous, kept glancing at the door. What do you want to tell me? Kate asked. Michael pushed an envelope across the table. These are text messages between Tiffany and her sister. I got them during our divorce discovery. They explain everything. Her whole plan with your husband. Kate opened the envelope, started reading. The texts were damning, vicious, calculating. Tiffany to her sister, Rick says his wife is so clueless, she won't even know what hit her. We'll have everything finalized before she can get a decent lawyer. Another text. He's going to say she's mentally unstable. Easy to prove when you've been setting it up for a year. All those times he told people she's stressed and overwhelmed, that's going to play perfectly in court. Kate felt cold. Every moment Rick positioned himself as the calm parent. Every time he suggested Kate needed help. It was all part of the plan. She kept reading. Once we get full custody, we can move to the lake house with the kids. Rick says the boy will be easy to manipulate. The girl already worships him. Kate will end up alone in some apartment somewhere. She should have paid more attention. Kate's vision blurred. They were planning to take her children, move them into a house built with her money, play happy family while Kate suffered alone. Why are you showing me this? Kate asked. Michael's expression hardened. Because Tiffany destroyed my life. And I want her to lose something she wants for once. She left me, took half of everything, disappeared with no explanation. Now I know why. She was planning this with your husband. How long have you known? 2 weeks. My lawyer found the property records, saw the LLC names, did some digging. Michael leaned forward. Mrs. Morrison, Tiffany is using your husband the same way she used me. For money, for status, for a lifestyle she thinks she deserves, and when he's no longer useful, she'll do the same thing to him. Kate looked at Trish. Her friend was reading through the texts, her face growing darker with each message. These are admissible, Trish said. Legal discovery. We can use these in court. Michael nodded. I thought you should have them. My lawyer has copies. I'm willing to testify if needed. Why would you do that? Kate asked. What's in it for you? Satisfaction. Knowing that Tiffany didn't get everything she wanted. Knowing that someone finally saw through her lies. Michael stood to leave. There's one more thing. Tiffany told your husband she's pregnant. 3 months ago, pushed him to file for divorce faster. Kate's stomach dropped. She's pregnant? No, she's never been pregnant. It was a lie. She knew it would manipulate him into moving faster, playing on his guilt about leaving you while starting a new family. Michael's expression was bitter. She pulled the same trick on me 2 years ago. Fake pregnancy, fake miscarriage, all designed to get what she wanted. He left. Kate sat stunned, processing. Rick thought Tiffany was pregnant, thought he was starting a new family, and it was all a lie. Tiffany was manipulating him, using him, and Rick was too blinded by lust to see it. We have him, Trish said quietly. Kate, we really have him. These texts prove conspiracy, prove manipulation, prove intent to defraud. No judge will side with Rick after seeing these. Kate looked at the messages again. Read the line about her ending up alone in an apartment, about Rick manipulating their children, about Tiffany's fake pregnancy. Something shifted inside Kate. The fear faded, replaced by cold fury. Rick wanted to destroy her, wanted to take everything, wanted to leave her with nothing. But she wasn't nothing. She was Catherine Morrison, high school English teacher, mother, fighter. And she went on being the victim in this story. Call Jonathan, Kate said. Tell him we have new evidence. Tell him we're filing that emergency motion today. I want Rick in front of a judge as soon as possible. Trish smiled. Now you're talking. That afternoon, Kate met with Dr. Lisa Crawford for the custody evaluation. The psychologist's office was neutral. Beige walls, comfortable furniture, children's toys in one corner. Dr. Crawford was 41, professional, kind, but distant. She asked Kate questions for 90 minutes about her parenting, her marriage, her mental health, her relationship with the kids. Kate answered honestly. Described her routine, the school plays she'd attended, the parent-teacher conferences, the homework help, the late-night conversations when the kids needed someone to talk to. She talked about Rick's absences, his business trips, his claims about working late, now revealed as lies. How do you feel about the divorce? De Crawford asked. Devastated, angry, betrayed, but determined to protect my children. Your husband claims you've been increasingly unstable over the past year. Have you sought mental health treatment? No, because I'm not unstable. I've been stressed. Any working mother would be stressed, especially one whose husband was conducting an affair and stealing money while positioning himself as the stable parent. Dr. Crawford made fun. Tell me about your relationship with Emma. Emma and I are close, but she adores her father, always has. And Rick has been manipulating her for months, positioning me as the problem, himself as her ally. Now she believes his version of events. And Tyler? Tyler is quieter, more observant. He believes me, but he's hurting, watching his family fall apart. If you're granted primary custody, what role would you want Rick to play in the children's lives? Kate considered carefully. This was a trap question. If she said she wanted to keep Rick away, she'd look vindictive. If she said she wanted him fully involved, she'd look naive. I want my children to have a relationship with their father, Kate said, but I also want them to be safe, protected from his manipulation. If Rick can be honest with them and treat them with respect, then yes, he should be in their lives. But if he continues to lie and manipulate, then his time with them needs to be supervised. Dr. Crawford nodded, made more notes. Thank you for your time, Mrs. Morrison. Kate left feeling uncertain. Had she said the right things? Would Dr. Crawford see through Rick's lies? Or would she believe his version? There was no way to know. That evening, Kate sat with Tyler on the back porch. Emma was still avoiding her, staying in her room, texting with Rick constantly. Mom, Tyler said quietly, if the judge says we have to live with Dad, I'm not going. Kate looked at her son. Tyler, I mean it. I'll run away if I have to. I'm not leaving you alone in some apartment while Dad plays happy family with Tiffany. Kate's eyes filled with tears. Baby, I hope it doesn't come to that. But if it does, you need to know I'm staying with you, no matter what some judge says. Kate hugged him tight. Thank you. But let's hope the judge sees the truth. And if she doesn't, then we fight harder. Tyler nodded. Okay. We fight harder. They sat in silence, watching the sun set, another day ending. Kate had survived, documented, gathered evidence, prepared for battle. Rick thought he could win by controlling the narrative, by positioning himself as the victim and Kate as the problem. But Kate had something Rick didn't expect, the truth, and people willing to testify to it. Michael Bennett, Diane Callahan, her children's teachers, her friends, her own documentation. Rick had lies and manipulation. Kate had facts and evidence. And facts, she hoped, would be enough. The emergency hearing was scheduled for Tuesday at 9 a.m., 5 days away. Kate spent every waking moment preparing. Jonathan's office became her second home, reviewing documents, practicing testimony, learning legal procedure. A forensic accountant walked Kate through every fraudulent transaction Rick made, showed her the pattern, the progression, the systematic theft. He was meticulous, the accountant said, but he made one critical mistake. What? Kate asked. He thought you'd never look, thought you'd stay blind. But once you looked, the pattern was obvious. No skilled investigator would miss it. Jonathan brought in a jury consultant, a woman who helped prepare witnesses for testimony. She asked Kate hard questions, made her practice answering without getting emotional. They're going to try to rattle you, the consultant said. Rick's lawyer will ask about every time you lost your temper, every moment you seemed stressed, every parenting mistake you've ever made. He'll take those normal moments and make them sound like proof of instability. How do I respond? Kate asked. With honesty, acknowledge that you're human, that parenting is hard, but emphasize your consistency, your presence, your love for your children. Kate practiced for hours, answering questions about discipline, school involvement, mental health, every aspect of her parenting put under a microscope. On Sunday night, 3 days before the hearing, Kate broke down. She'd been holding it together for days, for the kids, for the lawyers, for herself. But alone in her bedroom, their bedroom, she fell apart. Kate curled up on the floor of the walk-in closet, pressed her back against Rick's suits, breathed in the scent of his cologne. The same cologne she used to love. That now made her nauseous. She thought about 22 years of marriage, the early years, full of hope and passion and plans, building a life together, having children, creating a family. When did it go wrong? When did Rick stop loving her? Was there a specific moment? Or was it gradual? A slow erosion of affection until he didn't even see her anymore. Kate pulled one of Rick's shirts off a hanger, held it, remembered him wearing it to Emma's first day of kindergarten, Tyler's birth, their 10th anniversary dinner. Had those moments been real? Or was she living in a fantasy even then? She couldn't tell anymore, couldn't trust her own memories. Rick had poisoned everything. At 3 a.m., Kate gave up on sleep, got up, started cleaning. She scrubbed the bathroom until it gleamed, organized the linen closet, cleaned out the pantry, vacuumed every room. Frantic energy, desperate motion. If she stopped moving, she'd have to feel the grief threatening to swallow her whole. Tyler found her at 5 a.m., scrubbing the baseboards in the hallway with a toothbrush. "Mom?" Kate looked up, realized how insane she must look. On her hands and knees in the hallway, scrubbing with a toothbrush at 5 in the morning. "I couldn't sleep," she said. Tyler sat down on the floor next to her, took the toothbrush from her hand. "Mom, the house is clean. You don't have to do this." Kate sat back on her heels, looked at her hands. They were raw from cleaning chemicals, red and chapped and shaking. "I don't know what else to do, Ty." He hugged her, long and tight. "You could rest. You look really tired." "I can't rest. The hearing is in 3 days. If I don't win, if the judge doesn't believe me, I could lose you and Emma. You're not going to lose us. You don't know that? I know you're a good mom. I know Dad's the one who messed up. And any judge who can't see that is blind." Kate wanted to believe him, wanted to trust that the truth would be enough. But she'd learned that truth didn't always win. Sometimes lies were more convincing. Sometimes manipulators got away with everything. "Go back to bed," Kate said. "You have school tomorrow." "You should sleep too." "I will, soon." Tyler left reluctantly. Kate stood, looked at the spotless hallway, the gleaming baseboards, the perfectly organized linen closet, evidence of control, of needing something she could fix, something she could make perfect, because nothing else in her life was perfect anymore. At 2 p.m. on Monday, Kate lay in bed with blackout curtains drawn. Trish had insisted she take a sleeping pill, had practically forced it down her throat. "You need rest," Trish said. "Your body is shutting down from stress. If you don't sleep, you'll be useless in court." Kate hated the idea. Taking medication felt like admitting defeat, like proving Rick's claims about her mental health. But Trish was right. She couldn't function on 3 hours of sleep total over 5 days. The pill made everything fuzzy, distant. Kate lay in bed trying to sleep, but every time she closed her eyes, she saw Rick's face, heard Tiffany's laugh, imagined them together in the lakefront house, playing happy family with her children. Tyler doing homework at their kitchen table, Emma telling Tiffany about school, Rick sitting at the head of the table, smiling, content, having won everything. Kate's eyes snapped open. Her heart raced. She couldn't breathe. She got up, stumbled to the bathroom, turned on the shower, stood under scalding water until her skin turned red. Thought about how many times she'd showered in this bathroom, getting ready for date nights with Rick, washing away the stress of teaching, preparing for family events. This might be the last time. If Rick won tomorrow, if the judge believed his lies, Kate would have to leave this house, pack up 22 years of life, move to some apartment, start over at 45, alone. The thought was unbearable. Kate turned off the water, dried off mechanically, put on clean pajamas, tried the bed again. This time, exhaustion won. She slept for 6 hours, dreamless, deep, the sleep of someone whose body finally gave up trying to stay alert. She woke at 8 p.m. to find Trish sitting in her bedroom reading a book. "You're awake," Trish said. "Good. I brought dinner. We need to eat and then go over your testimony one more time." They sat at the kitchen table. Emma was at a friend's house. Tyler was in his room doing homework. Just Kate and Trish, like old times. How are you feeling? Trish asked. Terrified. Good, use that. Channel it into determination. Tomorrow, you walk into that courtroom and you tell Judge Thornton exactly what Rick has done. Every lie, every manipulation, every theft. You show her that you're the stable parent, the honest one, the one who deserves those kids. What if I mess up? What if I say the wrong thing? Then you take a breath, you ask for water, you look at Jonathan, but you do not give Rick's lawyer the emotional breakdown he's counting on. Kate nodded, tried to believe she could do this. Her phone buzzed, a text from Rick. Looking forward to seeing you in court tomorrow. Hope you've prepared yourself for the outcome. You're not going to like what Judge Thornton decides. Kate stared at the message. Rick was trying to psych her out, make her afraid, undermine her confidence before the hearing even started. But his text revealed something important. He didn't know about Michael Bennett, didn't know about the text messages Kate had, didn't know about the forensic accounting evidence. Rick thought he was walking into court with the upper hand. He had no idea what was waiting for him. Kate texted back, "See you at 9, don't be late." Simple, calm, confident. Let him wonder what that meant. Trish smiled. That's my girl. That night, Kate took another sleeping pill, slept straight through until 7 a.m., woke feeling more rested than she had in days. She showered, dressed carefully, professional clothes, minimal makeup, hair pulled back in a neat bun. She looked like a competent high school teacher, a responsible mother, the exact opposite of how Rick described her. Tyler hugged her before school. Good luck, Mom. You've got this. Emma didn't come downstairs. Kate knocked on her door. Sweetheart, I'm leaving for court soon. Do you want to talk? No. Emma, I love you, no matter what happens today, no matter what the judge decides. I love you. Silence, then quietly, I know, I love you too. It wasn't forgiveness, but it was something. Kate would take it. At 8:45 a.m., Kate walked into the courthouse with Jonathan and Trish. Her hands shook despite her best efforts to stay calm. Remember, Jonathan said, stay composed. Answer questions directly. Don't volunteer extra information. And Kate, he looked at her seriously. No matter what happens in there, no matter what Rick says, you stay calm. Understood? Understood. They walked through security, up to the third floor, down a long hallway lined with courtrooms. Courtroom 6B, family court, Judge Margaret Thornton presiding. Kate took a deep breath. This was it, the moment that would determine her future, her children's future, everything. She pushed open the courtroom door and saw Rick sitting at the defense table with his lawyer, and Tiffany sitting in the gallery behind him, close enough to support, far enough to seem respectful. Tiffany was smiling, like this was a party she couldn't wait to attend. Kate's blood pressure spiked. Her vision swam, but she forced herself to walk steadily to the plaintiff's table, to sit down, to breathe. She would not give them the satisfaction of seeing her panic. Jonathan leaned close. Are you okay? I'm fine. Kate, I'm fine. Let's do this. The bailiff stood. All rise. The Honorable Judge Margaret Thornton presiding. Everyone stood. Kate's legs felt weak, but she stayed upright. Judge Thornton entered. Older woman, gray hair, sharp eyes, no-nonsense expression. She looked like someone who'd seen every variation of human cruelty in divorce court. Kate hoped she'd see through Rick's lies. Be seated, Judge Thornton said. She looked over her reading glasses at the courtroom. We're here for an emergency motion regarding Morrison versus Morrison. Financial fraud allegations. Custody disputes. Let's begin. Kate's heart pounded. Her mouth was dry. Her hands gripped the edge of the table. This was it, the fight for her life, and she absolutely could not lose. The courtroom felt smaller than Kate expected. Wood paneling, fluorescent lights, a worn American flag in the corner. Judge Thornton's bench sat elevated at the front. Kate sat at the plaintiff's table, hands folded, trying to look calm. Rick sat 20 feet away. He looked confident, comfortable, wearing the charcoal suit Kate bought him for their 20th anniversary, hair perfectly styled, He looked like a successful businessman, a devoted father, a reasonable man dealing with an unfortunate situation. Tiffany sat behind him, conservative dress, minimal makeup, hair pulled back. She looked professional, sympathetic, not at all like a woman who destroyed someone's marriage. Kate's blood pressure monitor on her wrist showed 145/92. Too high, dangerously high. The doctor had warned her. Stress management. Stay calm, take deep breaths. But how could she stay calm when everything was on the line? Judge Thornton arranged her papers, looked up, looked. Mr. Garrison, your client filed this motion for divorce and custody. Let's hear your opening statement. David Garrison stood, Rick's lawyer, 49 years old, expensive suit, aggressive demeanor. He'd built a career on high-conflict divorces. Your Honor, Garrison began, my client, Richard Morrison, has been married to Catherine Morrison for 22 years. They have 2 children, Emma, 16, Tyler, 13. For most of their marriage, things were stable, functional, normal. Kate's hands clenched under the table. But over the past year, Garrison continued, Mr. Morrison has watched his wife deteriorate, increased anxiety, paranoid behavior, erratic decisions. He's tried to support her, encourage therapy, taken on additional household responsibilities. But Mrs. Morrison has refused help, pushed him away, created conflict out of nothing. Lies. All lies. Kate wanted to shout it, but Jonathan's hand on her arm kept her silent. Mr. Morrison can no longer in good conscience allow his children to be primarily cared for by someone in such an unstable mental state, Garrison said. He's asking for primary custody, not to punish his wife, but to protect his children, to provide them with the stability they need during this difficult transition. Garrison sat down. Kate felt sick. He made Rick sound like a concerned father, made Kate sound like a problem that needed to be managed. Jonathan stood, calm, professional, strategic. Your Honor, Jonathan said, what Mr. Garrison calls deterioration is actually a woman discovering her husband has been systematically defrauding her, conducting an extramarital affair for 18 months, and manipulating everyone around them to support a false narrative. Rick's expression flickered, just for a second. Then the mask was back in place. Mrs. Morrison is not unstable, Jonathan continued. She's angry, and she has every right to be. Over the past 3 weeks, she's discovered that her husband moved $473,000 from joint accounts into an account only in his name, that he used her inheritance from her grandmother to purchase property with his mistress, that he's been lying to her and their children for over a year while planning this exit strategy. Judge Thornton's expression sharpened. Interesting. We'll get to evidence in a moment. Continue. Your Honor, Mr. Morrison isn't concerned about his wife's mental health. He's concerned about covering up his own illegal activity. We have extensive documentation of financial fraud, wire transfers, shell corporations, property purchases, all designed to steal marital assets and leave Mrs. Morrison with nothing. Jonathan sat down. Kate felt a flicker of hope. He was good, calm, convincing. Let's hear from Mr. Morrison, Judge Thornton said. Take the stand. Rick stood, walked to the witness stand, placed his hand on the Bible, swore to tell the truth. Kate watched him lie. Garrison asked questions. Rick answered smoothly. Described Kate as a wonderful mother who'd been overwhelmed lately. Said he'd tried to help, but she pushed him away. Claimed the affair just happened during a difficult time in their marriage. I never meant to hurt anyone, Rick said, his voice breaking slightly. I made a terrible mistake, but my priority now is protecting Emma and Tyler. They need stability. Kate needs help that I can't provide anymore. It was a masterful performance. Kate watched the court reporter's expression soften, watched even Jonathan's paralegal look sympathetic. Rick was good at this, manipulating, performing, making people believe his version. Tell me about your relationship with your children, Garrison said. I love them more than anything, Rick replied. I try to be present, involved. I go to school events when I can, help with homework. Emma and I have breakfast together every Saturday. Tyler and I watch football every Sunday. I'm there for them. Except he wasn't. Kate had the attendance records. Rick missed more events than he attended, but he was rewriting history, making himself sound like Father of the Year. "And your wife?" Garrison asked. "What concerns do you have?" Rick sighed, looked pained. "Kate used to be so vibrant, energetic, but lately she's been angry all the time. Suspicious. She accuses me of things that never happened. Checks my phone constantly. Creates drama. The kids walk on eggshells around her. Lies, lies, lies." "Do you believe Mrs. Morrison is fit to care for your children?" Garrison asked. Rick paused, looked genuinely conflicted. "I think she needs help. Professional help. Once she gets treatment, maybe things can improve. But right now, no. I don't think she's fit to be their primary caregiver." Kate's hands shook. She pressed them flat against the table. "Breathe, stay calm, don't react." Jonathan would tear this apart on cross-examination. But then Garrison called Tiffany to the stand. Tiffany walked to the front of the courtroom. Looked nervous, sympathetic. Like she hated being here, another performance. "Ms. Bennett," Garrison said, "how do you know Richard Morrison?" "I was his assistant for 3 years," Tiffany said softly. "Now I'm his business partner." "Are you in a romantic relationship with Mr. Morrison?" "Yes, for about a year." "And how would you describe Mr. Morrison as a father?" Jonathan stood. "Objection. Ms. Bennett has never met the Morrison children. She has no basis to comment on Mr. Morrison's parenting." "Sustained," Judge Thornton said. "Ms. Bennett, you may only testify to things you have personally witnessed." Garrison nodded. "Ms. Bennett, have you observed Mr. Morrison interacting with his children via phone or video calls?" "Yes, he calls them every day, asks about school, homework, their activities. He's very attentive." "And Mrs. Morrison, has Mr. Morrison discussed his concerns about her with you?" "Yes, he's worried about her. He says she's been very stressed, not sleeping well, that she seems paranoid and anxious." Kate gripped the table edge. This was Rick's narrative coming from a second source, making his lies sound like concerned observations. "Thank you, Ms. Bennett," Garrison had said. "No further questions." Jonathan stood for cross-examination. "Ms. Bennett, you're in a romantic relationship with a married man, correct?" Tiffany's face colored. "We started seeing each other before he filed for divorce, yes." "And you're business partners with Mr. Morrison?" "Yes." "You co-own property with him?" "Yes." "Property purchased with money from Mr. Morrison's joint accounts with his wife, correct?" "I don't know where the money came from." "But you sign in loan documents. You're a co-borrower on a $300,000 loan. You didn't question where the down payment came from?" "I trusted Rick to handle the finances, just like Mrs. Morrison trusted him. And look where that got both of you." Garrison objected. Judge Thornton sustained it. But the point was made. Jonathan continued. "Ms. Bennett, are you currently pregnant?" Tiffany's eyes widened. "What? No." "But you told Mr. Morrison you were pregnant 3 months ago, didn't you?" Tiffany looked at Rick, panic in her eyes. "That was a misunderstanding." "A misunderstanding or a lie designed to pressure Mr. Morrison into filing for divorce faster." "Objection!" Garrison stood. "Counsel is badgering the witness." "Overruled," Judge Thornton said. Her expression had hardened. "Answer the question, Ms. Bennett." "I thought I might be pregnant," Tiffany said, voice shaking. "I was wrong, that's all." "You thought you might be pregnant, so you told Mr. Morrison you were, then never corrected that information until now?" "I told him I miscarried." "When?" "Last month." "Convenient timing, right before divorce proceedings started." Tiffany didn't answer. She looked at Rick, at Garrison, like she was waiting for someone to save her. No one did. "No further questions," Jonathan said. Tiffany fled the witness stand, sat back in the gallery, no longer smiling, looking shaken. Kate felt a flicker of satisfaction. But it wasn't enough. They needed more. "Mrs. Morrison," Judge Thornton said, "it's your turn to testify." Kate stood. Her legs felt weak. She walked toward the witness stand. 1 step, 2 steps, 3. The floor tilted. Her vision grayed at the edges. She reached for the table but missed. The last thing Kate heard before everything went black was Tiffany's voice. "Oh my God, this is exactly what Rick was talking about." So Kate woke up on a bench in the courthouse hallway. Jonathan was kneeling beside her. A paramedic was checking her blood pressure. Voices echoed, Trish arguing with someone. Rick claiming this proved his point, Tiffany's false concern. You passed out, Jonathan said quietly. Blood pressure spike, dehydration, stress. Kate closed her eyes. This was it. The moment Rick won. She just proved everything he claimed, unstable, unable to handle pressure, falling apart. Through the courthouse wall, she could hear voices. The hearing was on brief recess, but it would reconvene soon. And when it did, Rick's lawyer would use her collapse as proof. Kate sat up slowly, her head pounded. Her hands still shook. But something shifted inside her. This wasn't weakness. This was her body reacting to months of betrayal and systematic abuse. Her blood pressure spiked because she'd been gaslit. She passed out because her husband poisoned her life. That wasn't mental instability. That was trauma. I'm going back in there, Kate said. Kate, the paramedic recommends the hospital. I'm going back, and I'm going to tell Judge Thornton everything. Jonathan hesitated, then nodded. Okay, but we're doing this my way. We're not putting you on the stand yet. We're presenting our evidence first. He pulled out his phone, and then we're playing the recording. Kate's head snapped up. What recording? Jonathan smiled grimly. The one Michael Bennett sent me this morning. The one where Rick and Tiffany discuss exactly how they're going to manipulate this custody evaluation. The one where Tiffany explains her fake pregnancy and Rick laughs about it. Kate stood, steadier now. Tiffany's smile, Rick's confident posture. They thought they'd won. They had no idea what was about to happen. Let's go, Kate said. I want to see their faces when they realize it's over. Judge Thornton returned to the bench at 10:37 a.m. Tiffany was still in the gallery. Her smile had returned, confident again. Rick looked satisfied. They'd watched Kate collapse, watched paramedics check her vitals. They thought this was over. Kate sat at the plaintiff's table, water bottle in hand, color returning to her face, determination in her eyes. Jonathan Hayes stood. Your Honor, I have new evidence. Rick and Garrison exchanged glances, confused but not worried. They didn't know what was coming. Judge Thornton looked over her reading glasses. Mr. Hayes, you submitted all evidence 3 days ago. What new evidence could you possibly have? A recording, Your Honor, obtained legally this morning from a third party willing to testify to its authenticity. The recording is a conversation between Richard Morrison and Tiffany Bennett, recorded 2 weeks ago. Rick went pale. Tiffany's smile faltered. Garrison stood immediately. Objection, Your Honor. We haven't had time to review. Neither had I until an hour ago, Jonathan interrupted, which is why I'm prepared to authenticate it right now through witness testimony and provide copies to opposing counsel in the court. Judge Thornton considered. Who made this recording? Michael Bennett, Ms. Bennett's ex-husband. The recording occurred in Ms. Bennett's living room, where Mr. Bennett was permitted to be per their divorce settlement to collect remaining belongings. He wore a body camera for documentation. Their divorce agreement allowed this to prevent false accusations. The conversation between Mr. Morrison and Ms. Bennett happened to be caught on camera. Your Honor, Garrison said desperately, this is ambush tactics. This is evidence, Judge Thornton said. I'll allow it, but Mr. Hayes, this better be relevant. It's extremely relevant, Your Honor. It goes directly to Mr. Morrison's credibility and his claims about Mrs. Morrison's mental state. Jonathan set up a laptop and speakers. The courtroom went silent. Kate could hear her own heartbeat. Rick's lawyer was frantically whispering to him. Tiffany had stopped smiling entirely. The audio crackled to life. Tiffany's voice, clear and confident. So the judge will be Margaret Thornton. I looked her up. She's old school, traditional family values, which actually works in our favor. We play up the devoted father angle, the unstable mother angle. She'll give you primary custody, no problem. Kate watched Rick's face. He was trying to maintain composure, but she could see panic. He was calculating, trying to remember what was said. Rick's voice on the recording. You're sure Kate hasn't found anything? The offshore accounts? Rick, relax. She doesn't even look at the finances. She trusts you. It's pathetic, honestly. The property transfer went through last week. As far as any court knows, that's my money, not hers. Her lawyer would have to dig for months to find the shell corporations. By then, we'll have everything liquidated. Complete silence in the courtroom. Judge Thornton's expression hardened. Garrison looked like he wanted to disappear. The recording continued. What about the pregnancy thing? Tiffany laughed. Actually laughed. I told you it's not real, but it pushed you to file faster, didn't it? Kate won't contest it because she's too busy dealing with the divorce. By the time anyone figures out I'm not actually pregnant, everything will be finalized and you'll have custody. Then I'll just say I miscarried. Everyone wins. Except Kate. Well, yeah, but she should have seen this coming. I mean, come on. I've been your assistant for 3 years. Classic setup. She's so worried about being the perfect teacher and perfect mother that she stopped being a wife. You don't owe her anything. Kate looked at Tiffany. The smile was completely gone. Tiffany's hands were shaking now, the same way Kate's had been shaking for weeks. Same panic. Same realization that your life was falling apart. Kate's hands stopped shaking. The recording continued. Rick and Tiffany discussed the financial fraud, the timeline, how Rick had been laying groundwork for a year, calling Kate stressed and overwhelmed, setting up the narrative, and then the final piece. The best part is David Garrison. He thinks this is a legitimate custody case. He has no idea we've been manufacturing evidence of Kate's instability. Those texts I wrote to you about her erratic behavior, I made them up. I've never even met her. But Garrison will use them in court like they're facts. Rick's voice, pleased with himself. He's expensive, but he's worth it. Kate will never see it coming. The recording ended. Total silence. Judge Thornton looked at Rick and Tiffany with an expression Kate had never seen before. Pure judicial fury. Mr. Morrison, her voice was ice cold. Ms. Bennett, you're both under oath. Would either of you like to explain to this court what I just heard? Rick tried to speak. Your Honor, that conversation, it's not what it sounds like. It sounds like conspiracy to commit fraud and perjury, Judge Thornton said. It sounds like two individuals who deliberately set out to destroy Mrs. Morrison's life, steal her assets, and manipulate this court. Garrison stood, his face red. Your Honor, I had no knowledge of any of this. I was operating based on information provided by my client, which I now realize was, sit down, Mr. Garrison. You'll have time to distance yourself from your client's criminal behavior later. Tiffany stood abruptly. That's not, it's out of context. Sit down, Ms. Bennett. But Tiffany didn't sit. She looked at Rick, at Garrison, panic written across her face. This isn't fair. You can't use that against us. It was a private conversation. That was legally recorded, Judge Thornton said, in a space where you had no expectation of privacy, during a time when Mr. Bennett was permitted to be there. Sit down. Tiffany sat. Kate watched her collapse, watched the confident facade crumble, watched the woman who destroyed her marriage realize she'd destroyed herself instead. Judge Thornton turned to Jonathan. Mr. Hayes, I assume you have additional evidence regarding the financial fraud? Yes, Your Honor. Forensic accounting reports, property records, transfer documentation, testimony from both Mrs. Morrison and Michael Bennett. And I assume you're filing criminal complaints as well? First thing tomorrow morning, Your Honor. Wire fraud, identity theft, perjury, conspiracy to commit fraud. Possibly more charges pending investigation. Rick stood. Your Honor, I'd like to request a recess to consult with my attorney. Denied, Judge Thornton said. You've wasted enough of this court's time with lies. We're going to get to the truth right now. Mrs. Morrison, I'd like to hear your testimony. And this time, I think we'll all listen very carefully. Kate stood. Her legs were steady. Her voice would be calm. For the first time in weeks, she felt like herself again. Thank you, Your Honor, Kate said. I have a lot to say. Kate Morrison took the witness stand, placed her hand on the Bible, swore to tell the truth. Unlike her husband, she meant it. Jonathan led her through her testimony methodically. She described their 22-year marriage, the good years, the moment 3 weeks ago when she found the text messages on the shared tablet, her discovery of the financial fraud, the systematic gaslighting. She was calm, factual. Every answer supported by evidence Jonathan displayed on screens for the judge. Text messages, bank statements, property records, credit card receipts showing Rick's lies about business trips and conferences. Rick sat at the defense table looking diminished, small. The man Kate had feared just hours ago now looked like exactly what he was, a liar exposed. Garrison approached for cross-examination. He was subdued, his earlier aggression gone. He knew his client had destroyed any credibility. Mrs. Morrison, you claim my client has been gaslighting you. Can you explain what you mean? Kate looked directly at Rick. Your client spent 18 months telling everyone I was stressed, overwhelmed, unstable. He volunteered to take over school meetings so I could rest. He suggested I needed therapy. He positioned himself as the stable partner. All of it was designed to make people believe I was falling apart, so that when he filed for divorce and claimed I was unfit, people would believe him. But you did pass out in this courtroom earlier, Garrison said. Doesn't that suggest some instability? Jonathan objected. But Kate raised her hand. I'd like to answer, Your Honor. Judge Thornton nodded. Go ahead, Mrs. Morrison. Kate turned to face the judge directly. Your Honor, I passed out because my blood pressure spiked. My blood pressure spiked because I've spent the last 3 weeks discovering that my husband of 22 years has been systematically stealing from me, lying to me, planning to take my children, manipulating everyone around us. That's not mental instability. That's a physiological response to prolonged emotional abuse. The courtroom was silent. Any person in my situation would be struggling, Kate continued. The difference is I'm still fighting. I'm still showing up. I'm still telling the truth even when it's hard. That's not weakness. That's strength. Even Garrison had no follow-up. He sat down. Jonathan asked his final question. Mrs. Morrison, if Judge Thornton grants you primary custody, what kind of relationship do you hope your children will have with their father? Kate took a breath. This was the question that mattered, the one that determined what kind of person she'd become through this nightmare. I hope they have a relationship with him, Kate said quietly. Despite everything he's done to me, he's still their father. I don't want my children to lose their dad. I just want them to know the truth. I want them to understand that when someone lies to you or manipulates you or tries to control you, even someone you love, you have the right to set boundaries. You have the right to expect honesty, and you have the right to walk away. She looked at Rick. I'm not trying to destroy him. I'm just trying to protect myself and our children from more lies. Kate stepped down from the witness stand. As she passed Rick's table, he reached out, tried to grab her hand. Kate, please. She stopped, looked down at him, the man she'd married, the man she'd trusted, the man who tried to destroy her. Don't, she said quietly. You don't get to touch me anymore. You don't get to use my name like we're still on the same side. We're not. She walked back to her table, sat down. Jonathan squeezed her shoulder. She was done. She'd told the truth. Now it was up to Judge Thornton. The judge called Rick back to the stand. He was panicking now, trying to explain away the recording, the fraud, the lies. But every answer dug him deeper. Mr. Morrison, did you or did you not transfer $473,000 from a joint account to an account solely in your name? Yes, but did you or did you not use that money to purchase property with Ms. Bennett? Your Honor, it was a business investment. Mr. Morrison, that money came from the sale of Mrs. Morrison's grandmother's property. Money held in a joint account. Money you had no legal right to transfer without your wife's knowledge or consent. Would you agree that constitutes theft? Rick's lawyer jumped in. Your Honor, my client made errors in judgment. Your client committed multiple felonies, Judge Thornton snapped. Let's be clear about what we're discussing here. She turned to Tiffany. Ms. Bennett, approach the bench. Tiffany stood on shaking legs. She was crying now. Real tears. She knew what was coming. Ms. Bennett, are you currently pregnant? Silence. Silence. Ms. Bennett, I asked you a question. No, Your Honor. Have you ever been pregnant by Mr. Morrison? No, Your Honor. So when you told Mr. Morrison you were pregnant 3 months ago, that was a lie designed to pressure him into filing for divorce faster, correct? Tiffany couldn't finish. Answer the question. Yes, Your Honor. Judge Thornton's expression could freeze fire. Get out of my courtroom. I'm recommending perjury charges be filed against you. If you're smart, You'll hire an excellent criminal attorney." Tiffany fled, literally ran from the courtroom. Kate watched her go and felt nothing. Not satisfaction, not pity, just relief. It was over. Judge Thornton looked at her notes. "I'll issue my ruling after a brief recess, 1 hour. Everyone stay close." Kate stood in the courthouse hallway with Jonathan and Trish. Trish hugged her tight. "You did it, you told the truth, and you did it." "What do you think she'll decide?" Kate asked. Jonathan considered. "I think Judge Thornton just watched a man try to destroy his wife in every possible way, and she watched his wife refuse to be destroyed. I think Kate Morrison is going home in with her children tonight." Kate leaned against the wall, finally allowed herself to feel the exhaustion. 1 more hour, then she'd know if she got to keep her life. Judge Margaret Thornton returned to the bench at 12:47 p.m. She said the words Kate had been waiting to hear. "I've made my decision." The courtroom reassembled. Kate sat at her table, hands folded. Rick sat at his looking hollow. Tiffany was gone, had left the courthouse and not returned. Garrison looked like a man planning his malpractice insurance claim. Judge Thornton arranged her papers. The silence stretched. Every second felt like an hour. "I've been a family court judge for 19 years, Judge Thornton began. "I've seen countless divorces, custody battles, financial disputes. I've seen good people make mistakes. I've seen marriages fall apart for understandable reasons. This is not one of those cases." She looked directly at Rick. "Mr. Morrison, you didn't just end your marriage. You attempted to systematically destroy your wife's financial security, mental health, relationship with your children, and reputation. You planned this destruction for at least 18 months, possibly longer. You lied under oath in this courtroom. You conspired with Ms. Bennett to commit fraud, and you had the audacity to claim you were doing this out of concern for your children." Rick stared at his hands. "As for custody," Judge Thornton continued, "I'm granting primary physical custody to Mrs. Morrison. You will have supervised visitation only, pending completion of a psychological evaluation and anger management counseling. Your children deserve a relationship with their father, but they also deserve to be protected from his manipulative behavior." Kate's eyes closed. Relief flooded through her. Her children. She got to keep her children. "Regarding the marital assets," Judge Thornton said, "I'm issuing an immediate freeze on all accounts, properties, and investments connected to either party. Mr. Morrison, you will provide complete financial disclosure within 48 hours. Any additional hidden accounts or assets will result in further consequences. The $473,000 you transferred will be returned to Mrs. Morrison immediately, along with any profits from the lakefront property purchase." She paused. "I'm also awarding Mrs. Morrison the marital home. Full ownership. Mr. Morrison, you have 30 days to remove your belongings." Rick's lawyer whispered to him. Rick shook his head, defeated. "Mrs. Morrison," Judge Thornton said, "I want to commend you. What you've endured over the past weeks, the gaslighting, the betrayal, the systematic abuse, would break many people. You didn't break. You documented. You fought back. You told the truth even when it was painful. That's strength. That's resilience. That's exactly the kind of example your children need." Kate wiped her eyes, couldn't speak, just nodded. "As for criminal charges," Judge Thornton concluded, "I'm referring this case to the district attorney's office. Wire fraud, identity theft, perjury, conspiracy to commit fraud. Mr. Morrison, I suggest you hire a criminal defense attorney immediately. Ms. Bennett too, if she's smart." The gavel came down. "We're adjourned." Kate walked out of the courthouse with Jonathan and Trish. The hallway had never looked more beautiful. Sunlight streamed through windows. She could breathe. Her phone buzzed. Emma calling. "Mom, Dad called. He says he lost in court. Is that true? Are we okay?" Kate stepped outside. "It's true, but we're more than okay. We're going to be fine." Emma was quiet then. "Mom, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't believe you at first. I should have trusted you. You were scared and confused. Your dad manipulated all of us. You're not responsible for his lies. Can I come home? I've been at Ashley's house, but I want to come home. I'm coming to get you right now, both of you. You and Tyler. Kate sat in her car before driving, looked at herself in the rearview mirror. Same face, same eyes. But something had changed. She wasn't the woman who found those text messages 3 weeks ago. That woman was terrified, lost, convinced her life was ending. This woman was a fighter. This woman documented evidence, hired excellent lawyers, told the truth under oath, and won. This woman got to keep her children, her home, her dignity. Kate adjusted the rearview mirror and started the car. Time to go get her kids. That evening, Kate made dinner in her kitchen. Spaghetti and meatballs, Tyler's favorite. Emma helped with garlic bread. Tyler set the table. Just the three of them. No Rick, no tension, no lies. They ate and talked about school, friends, the upcoming semester, normal things, safe things. Tyler asked, "Is Dad really going to jail?" Kate chose her words carefully. He might. He broke the law. There will be consequences. But that's for the criminal court to decide. What matters now is that we're safe, we're together, and we're going to be okay. Emma reached across the table, took Kate's hand. We are going to be okay, aren't we? Kate squeezed her daughter's hand. Yes, we really are. After the kids went to their rooms, Kate sat alone in the living room with tea. She thought about 22 years of marriage, the good times that were real, the bad times she didn't recognize as red flags. The slow erosion of her confidence as Rick positioned himself as competent and her as overwhelmed. She realized she'd given her power away gradually. Small surrenders that seemed reasonable at the time. You handle the finances. You talk to the school. You make the decisions. Each surrender seemed minor. Collectively, they made her dependent, vulnerable, easy to manipulate. But she also realized this. She could take that power back. She already had. She documented evidence, hired excellent representation, told the truth, fought for her children. Won. The woman Rick tried to paint as weak and unstable turned out to be the strongest person in that courtroom. 6 months later, Kate stood in her classroom teaching first period English. She was explaining Hamlet's "to be or not to be" soliloquy when her phone buzzed. A text from her lawyer. Rick pleaded guilty, 18 months probation, restitution, community service. Tiffany got 6 months jail time for perjury. It's over. Kate finished the lesson. After class, she drove to the coffee shop where she'd met Michael Bennett months ago. He was sitting at a table by the window. "Thought you'd want to know in person," he said. "Our ex is officially lost." Kate sat down. "Thank you for everything. Without that recording—" "You'd have found another way," Michael interrupted. "You're resourceful, but I'm glad I could help." They talked for an hour about divorce, about rebuilding, about discovering you're stronger than you knew. Kate drove home. Emma and Tyler were at school. The house was quiet. She walked through each room noticing small changes. New throw pillows on the couch, her choice, paint swatches on the wall. She was redoing the master bedroom. Her grandmother's antique desk in the corner. Moved from storage. The house was becoming hers, not theirs. Hers. Kate made coffee, sat on the back porch. Spring was arriving. Daffodils pushing through soil, trees budding. Everything growing again after a long winter. She thought about what people would call this story. The betrayed wife's revenge, maybe. But that wasn't quite right. This wasn't revenge. This was truth-telling. This was refusing to be erased. This was standing up and saying, "No, you don't get to destroy me." Her phone buzzed. Trish texting, "Dinner this week? We should celebrate your official freedom." Kate smiled, typed back, "Yes, but it's not just my freedom. It's my life. I took it back." She looked at her reflection in the window glass. 45 years old, gray, showing in her hair, laugh lines around her eyes. Evidence of a life lived, battles fought, lessons learned. She used to think those lines made her look old, tired, less than. Now she saw them differently. Each line told a story. Each gray hair represented wisdom earned. Each imperfection proved she was real. Human. Strong enough to survive what should have destroyed her. The woman in the reflection smiled back. "You did it," Kate whispered. You actually did it. And for the first time in months, she believed it. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was living, and her life, the one she fought so hard to keep, was going to be extraordinary. Kate's story reminds us that we're stronger than we think, that documentation beats manipulation, that the truth, no matter how painful, is always worth fighting for. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever felt gaslit or betrayed or underestimated, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Your story matters too. And if you want more stories about real people finding their strength in impossible situations, hit that subscribe button. Because every week, we're sharing stories of survival, justice, and transformation. Thanks for listening. And remember, you're stronger than anyone who's ever tried to break you.